Okay, here's a riddle for you. When is a week only 24 hours long? That's right, when is a week only 24 hours long? The answer is when Christmas comes on a Monday. Huh? Yep, it's going to happen this year. Christmas is on a Monday. This Sunday, December 3rd, is the first Sunday of Advent. Then the second Sunday of Advent is on the 10th, the third on the 17th, and the fourth Sunday of Advent on the 24th. Now, since all Sundays begin with the vigil on Saturdays, starting at 4 p.m., the fourth Sunday of Advent will begin on Saturday the 23rd at 4 p.m. and end the next day, December 24th, Christmas Eve, at 4 p.m., which means the fourth week of Advent will be only 24 hours long. There's an answer to this riddle. When is the week only 24 hours long? When Christmas comes on a Monday. Unlike last year when Christmas came on a Sunday, we had the 4 full weeks of Advent. This year we have the shortest Advent possible. With the first Sunday of Advent, we begin a new church year, or a liturgical year as it's properly called. We should acknowledge that the church year evolved gradually over centuries. It's not like Jesus died on Good Friday and then was raised up on Easter and 40 days later ascended into heaven. And a few months later, Mary said to the apostles, you know, Jesus' birthday is coming up in a couple weeks, so we should do something special. No, that's not the way it happened, huh? In fact, Christmas as a feast was not celebrated until the 3rd century. Various theories are suggested for its origin, but most scholars agree that it stemmed from the Emperor Constantine's encouragement of the adaptation by the church of various features of sun worship. December 25th had long been established as the date for celebrating the birthday of the sun, S-U-N, the sun in the sky. It was a natural fit to take over that date as the birthday of the Son, S-O-N, the Son of God. Some call this process the baptizing of pagan feasts. Advent, which we begin celebrating today, began as a 3-week period in Spain around 300 AD and did not become a 4-week celebration until the 5th or 6th century. So we can see that the liturgical year has been developing over centuries, and it continues to develop and change. The feast we celebrated last Sunday, the Feast of Christ the King, was only established in the 20th century, and feasts for newly canonized saints continue to be added on a regular basis. Now, I mention all this because it's important to remember that the church is not a static organization, but rather a living organism. The church has grown, changed, and adapted through the centuries, and it continues to do so. Attributed to the great theologian St. Augustine is the phrase, Ecclesia semper reformanda est, which means the church must ever be reformed or ever changed. Or perhaps a more accurate translation is, the church must constantly be in the process of being reformed or of being ever changed. There is a dynamism and an energy to this process. It is a dynamism that mirrors the energy projected in the scripture readings we have just heard. Kathleen Norris suggests that today's readings insist that we, quote, wake up from our self-absorbed stupor. The opening prayer we prayed encourages us to run forth towards Christ. Isaiah asks God to return to us with awesome deeds, and the psalmist prays to God to rouse your power and come to save us. St. Paul in our second reading reminds us that our job is to wait, not only for the incarnation of Jesus, which we'll be celebrating soon, but for his second coming. And in the gospel, Jesus says, be watchful, be alert. The last word, watch. In other words, the scriptures are challenging us not to just go through the motions of celebrating yet another Advent season, but an Advent season that makes a difference. An Advent of promise, of healing, of hope. In our nation, we are experiencing a great division within our society, the unraveling of the capitalist system, the economic desperation being suffered by millions of people, political rancor of the past several months, and the racial tension exploding in our cities. And then there is our church, suffering from the burden of the continuing scandals by clergy and hierarchy. There is a sense of betrayal, anger, and abandonment because of the mismanagement and the missed opportunities that could have brought such healing to a church in such pain. Here in the Diocese of Buffalo, the pain is deepened by the bankruptcy proceedings that threaten to discontinue so many ministries and apostolates that have strengthened us for decades. What are we to do? We are a poorer church, but we are a chastened church, a weaker church, but a church that is called back to the basics, preaching the word, celebrating the sacraments, caring for people, especially those in need. Our parish and our school must remain an oasis of peace, and our community must be a communion with a mission. This is what we are all called to do together. We must listen for the Spirit in these times and in each other. Listen to where the Spirit is leading us. We must be open to moving beyond current models, outside of what we're used to and outside of our comfort zone in order to grow. Advent offers much hope and promise for these difficult times. Obviously, significant changes are coming to the church, both locally and globally. But as our patron, the great thinker St. John Cardinal Newman once said, "In a higher world, it is not so. But here below, to live is to change, and to be perfect is to have changed often." God bless you, sisters and brothers. As we begin our Advent journey, may this Advent not only be the shortest one you will ever celebrate, but may it also be the best one you will ever celebrate, because we share the great hope that Isaiah has in God, who can do marvelous things, things beyond our imagining, for a fallen Jerusalem, for shepherds in Bethlehem, and for us and our world today.